We're all living in caves. We're all living in caves. We're all living in caves. Show us your cave. Show us your cave. Show us your cave.
You know, I'm sifting through it. I've been trying to keep myself busy, and one day I just kind of happened on to decide to do a quick live stream. I wasn't planning on doing anything, it's just popping on and saying hello and see if anybody came. And that first one, which was about 6 weeks ago now, there was about 6,000 views on the little stream, and that was it. I wasn't planning on doing it again. And I've been doing it every day for 6 weeks. And that goes on every morning, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. And I just hang out with people, talk about music, talk about events of the day, talk about stuff that's bugging me. And I let them talk about stuff that's bugging them, although I don't have to hear them because... It's just me and my guitarist shtick that I started doing. It's going to be 3 years in January now, which that happened organically and by accident as well. And I'm kind of glad that it did, because at least I'm still able to work. I can, you know how expensive it is to tour and all this stuff. Now I have, since I'm doing a solo show, I have the opportunities to do these live streams, these paid live streams if I want, or now these drive-in pop-up concerts are happening in parking lots and things like that. So it's going to give me the ability to continue to work. I'm in it all the time. And it's really not a bad place to be in. It's actually and you've been up here before, and it was designed to be a one-man studio. It was never meant to be a commercial studio. It was all the gear was picked out specifically for my needs as a solo artist and the type of records that I wanted to make. So it's more or less, and since I record everything direct anyway, I always have since 1993. There's no need for any big live room. I don't record drums down here, and so it's basically a kind of an elaborate mixing suite, but with some great mic pre's and great outboard analog compression and gear for me to be able to just try to get the best quality sound as possible. I'm actually just in the middle of revamping the studio. I think the last time you were here, Paul, I had the SSL console. I had an AWS 948, which I recently sold about 6-7 months ago. And just kind of putting a new system together, smaller type of system. Maybe purge some of this outboard gear too, because I just don't think I need it anymore. Yeah. I love it. I love looking at it. It keeps me warm when it's cold because there's so many tubes going on. Oh, I love my Genelecs. I have the 8260s for the bigs, and the 8020s for my kind of near fields, and the 8260s are my midfields, I guess. And they're great. I love them. They're very true. My experience with the Genelecs from from my bigs to the smalls, I think the one thing I told you is that the print, the oral print didn't really change. It's like when I look at a mix, if it's a good mix going on and I'm listening to a mix and I have some nice playback speakers, you can kind of visualize the mix if you close your eyes where things sit in the mix, and width, depth, and on the horizon. And I think I told you I was listening to one of my records that I listen to that I always reference to is Sting's Mercury Falling. And I told you that when I switched from my 8260s, my little ones, if I stayed in the same position, his voice didn't move. It didn't move in height, or it just kind of stayed right there. Obviously, the low end changes because you're going from a big woofer to a small speaker, but the character of the mix didn't alter when I switched speakers, and I kind of really that excited me. It's the little things that excite me, Paul,
Right. Because
and my guitars. Yeah,
you got some cool guitars.
I do. I must admit, tools of the trade. What can I say? Yeah, I mean, basically, my signature model with Gibson is a certain neck profile that I develop with them, and it's pretty consistent. But they're handwork guitars, and they don't come off a machine. They're made by hand in Nashville at the Gibson Custom Shop, and when you have so many hand working wood and sanding and stuff, it'll be within spec. But there's always there's always something that has a little bit more mojo than another one, so there's always ones that I might gravitate to.
Yeah.
So but I'm still doing my routine and keeping my chops up and going through my show every day. I have to, because as you know, my show is kind of looping, doing solo guitar with looping and effects, and you really have to keep all the logistics of the feet and the hands and the effects and kind of all that sharp, just in case a gig does come down the road. I said to people on my live stream one day, I said, "Hey, how would you guys like to have some cocktails with me in my kitchen?" And everybody, all the red hearts start blowing up and the thumbs up going up the stream, So I said, "Okay, why don't you guys meet me back here at 3:00 on my page?" And I said, "I'll have my wife make a flatbread or something. We'll have some cocktails in the kitchen." So that was a disaster in a good way. I mean, my wife and I got, we got a little tipsy, and but it was a lot of fun. Made some kind of cocktails, and she showed the recipe, and we had Motown music playing, and that was wildly successful. So I said to my wife, Beth, I said, "You know what, maybe we can use this platform to try to raise some money to benefit some people that need money, like frontline workers." So we had an idea to design a t-shirt, Cocktails in the Kitchen with the A's. And when I was asking people, I was kind of teasing people with the idea. I said, "Is that something you might be interested in? Would anybody buy that t-shirt? Maybe we could sell it for $50 and donate all the profit to foundations and blah, blah, blah." And everybody was interested. And one woman that was watching the stream happened to be a graphic artist down in Connecticut. And she supplied the artwork for free. And I got pre-orders for 100 t-shirts. That was $5,000 in 2 days. The cost of, the shirts, the middleman, the shipping was about $15 a shirt. So it left like $35 a shirt profit. So that was $3,500. We donated 1,000 of that $3,500 to the Lawrence General Memorial Hospital for frontline workers, for gloves, masks, etc. And the other $2,500, the balance went to going to the Boston Food Bank, because every dollar that you donate to the Boston Food Bank equals 3 meals. So with the $2,500, we would be able to provide 7,500 meals to people.
Show us your cape. Show us your cape. Show us your cape.